Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Disney Lorcana video, and today we are going to talk about Attack of the Vine. This is going to be our first big market watch on Attack of the Vine after pre-release prices have gone. On TCG Player, it is still pre-release pricing on the sealed, but the singles, they have kind of unlocked that, and now the prices are really starting to normalize on the regular set. So we're going to start to look at that, and I'm going to give you my advice on if you should be buying right now, if you should still be waiting and holding out a little bit, right? So before we get into it, I do want to comment on like pull rates and things like that with Attack of the Vine. I'm going to go off of experience of what I pulled. I pulled 2 boxes. I saw what a lot of people were pulling out of pre-release kits, and also talked to somebody who opened 10 cases of this. And I can tell you what they pulled. But the idea here is this is looking very similar to Wilds Unknown in terms of pull rates, and it does make sense to me a little bit why the legendary value has kind of been really low. It's because the legendary pull rates are a lot higher in these last 2 sets, right? So this is my box number 1. Box number 1, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legendaries and 2 epics. One of my legendaries was this foil Melon Lee. And then I did get an Enchanted in my first box. I got Pocahontas Miko. Absolutely gorgeous card. I took a picture of it up close here. What's really cool about the modern Enchanteds is they did do like embossing and foiling on the Inkwell symbol, and then also on the lore pips. And then like all of these like little dash movement lines, they're all embossed in like rainbow foil. It's such a beautiful card in person. So this was actually one of the Enchanteds I really wanted out of the set. So very cool that I pulled it myself, right? Unfortunately, the centering was pretty bad on the back. So even though the condition's good, I can't grade it because of the centering. So I'll just keep it as a nice copy in a nice case, right? Box number 2. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legendaries, including a foil Mushu, and then once again 2 epics. So it looks like the standard here is about 6 to 7 legendaries per box, with a couple of epics, right? Now, in terms of pull rates, I've been seeing all kinds of crazy things on Facebook where some people are saying, I got 3 Enchanteds in a case, or I got 2 Enchanteds in an Iconic, or I got 4 Enchanteds in my case. I don't know whether those are actually true or not, or if those are people trolling online. I think outliers and crazy things like that can happen, but somebody at my local said he bought 10 cases and got 9 Enchanteds. So that's roughly 1 Enchanted per case, which I think is like the normal rate. And out of a 10K sample size, I mean, that's pretty telling, I think, to what the average case is going to look like. So you're looking at about 1 in every 4 boxes hitting an Enchanted. He got 0 Iconics out of 10 cases, which is absolutely wild and crazy to me. But that just tells you how rare the Iconics are. Whereas on the other hand, at our local pre-release, somebody who played for the very first time pulled an Iconic out of their pre-release box, right? So that's how it goes, right? One person buys 10 cases, doesn't get one. Someone just showing up for the first time doesn't even know what they're getting. They get an Iconic out of there, right? So go figure. But yeah, let me know what your guys' pull rates look like on there. But it is really looking like Wilds Unknown pull rates. So we're really going to be comparing to Wilds Unknown in terms of like pricing and where things are sitting, right? So let's actually get to the cards here. So we'll start with the Enchanteds, and we're looking at TCG Player. Right now, we'll look at Iconics at the end because Iconics don't have a market value yet. So we're just going to look at stuff that has market value, right? So you can see here at the top, just as I predicted Winnie and Pooh and Woody and Buzz would be the top 2, and I was absolutely correct here. Winnie and Piglet, though, they are sitting under 1,000 right now. It looks like you can get one at about 890 to 900. Market price says 733. Let's take a look at it. So there have been sales, yeah, at about, well, right now they're sitting at 890 for what you can buy them for. But if we look at actual sales, somebody bought one for 1,300, then a sale at 700, 3 sales at 700. That's why the market price is at 7 right now. And then somebody bought one for 9. So right now, I'm actually kind of surprised, because I do see this being $1,000 card. Now, that being said, I don't think you should rush out and buy this at 900. Right, I'm recording this on the Sunday of pre-release weekend. So we're still like, people are just very freshly getting their cards and opening packs. I would give it a solid week. I think all of these Enchanteds are actually going to dip a little bit more. I would say if you could get this Pooh at like, if it gets down to 500 to 600, I would 100% jump on it. I don't know if it'll actually get that low, but I think long term, we look at like the Pooh Honey Wizard from Fabled. That is the biggest card out of Fabled, and it is solidly like around $1,000-ish card. So actually, no, it's like way higher than that. If we go to, let's just grab it really quick. Let me just grab a new tab. Let me just go back to TCG Player. Because that Pooh Honey Wizard, we got to pull that up. I should have pre-pulled it up, so we'll just do that really quick here. So let's go Pooh and Lorcana. It's a pretty huge card. Yeah, look at this. So this card right now, if it wants to load, let me view more data here. There we go. Yeah, look at this. Sales at 2,500 is what this Pooh is. So I mean, based on how insane, now I get that this one's out of Fabled, which is a way more premium expensive set to get into, but I'm gonna be honest, if we compare the two, the new Pooh has better artwork than this, in my opinion. This artwork's super cool on this one. This is an awesome card, but like if you compare the two, I mean, this is just gorgeous. So like, don't be surprised, like over time, like this thing could go really crazy. I think any price under $1,000 is actually like solid to buy this at. But like I said, I'm not trying to encourage you to buy this at 9. I say let's give it another week, maybe week and a half. I think you can get this for a little bit cheaper. Let's take a look. We'll get that Pooh out of here. Let's take a look. Woody and Buzz, about 550 right now. I have them pulled up. Let's look at their sales. So yeah, about 550. 3 people have bought at 550. It's still early yet. I think on the Enchanteds especially, we'll get into like the regular base set stuff in a minute, but I would just exercise a little bit more patience with the Enchanteds. I know it's exciting because these are dropping a lot from the pre-release pricing, but I think they're going to drop a little bit more. You just have to find, once again, that sweet spot window. I would wait another week, week and a half, and let's see where they're at. Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, listings at 380, sales at 500. Mickey and Minnie 380, Rapunzel and Flynn 380, Mike Wazowski about 250, Maleficent and Diablo down to about 200. Well, what do you know? I knew that was crazy. Remember, we were looking at this card and it was like people were asking insane, stupid prices, like $700, $800, $1,000, and there was actually some crazy sales at that. Yeah, see, $200. That sounds a little bit more correct there. Pocahontas and Miko, the one I pulled, about 230 right now. Darkwing and Launchpad about 170 you can buy it at. Dash and Violet 170, Scar 160. This is another one. Remember, some guy meme posted this at like $20,000. Also remember the sale we looked at on eBay, right? Somebody had bought a Scar and a Pocahontas. They paid $800 for the package, so they paid $400 a piece. Look at them now. You can get them both for under $400. So this is why you do not go crazy and get those pre-sale prices, you guys. You just be patient with it. Give it a little bit of a wait. A lot of these are going to be out on the market that people want to sell. They want to move these cards. They'll go down. Merida about 145. Carl and Russell 130. Mel and Lee at about 125. Todd and Copper 170. I do want to bring up Todd and Copper really quick. There was actually market manipulation on this card. Let me open this up. Open a new tab. So something you have to be aware of, excuse me, sorry, my throat's a little froggy here. There can be market manipulation done. And what I mean by that is a seller can like intentionally list the card either really high or really low and intentionally buy it with a different account. And all they do is they'll just eat the fees on TCG Player, but they can do that to manipulate the market. So I'll just give you an example. So let's say I own this card and it's going for 170, but I want like 300 for it, right? So what I could do is I could intentionally list like a couple copies at like 500, like some really stupid high price. I could buy them with another account, not actually like pay for it or whatever, or I could pay it and I'm just paying myself, and then basically you're just eating the fees and stuff. But then the market price will shift, which will cause people to think that it's worth more than that, and I can list higher and try to sell higher, right? Or I could simply like buy out the low copies and then get it there. But the market manipulation we're seeing here to manipulate market prices, if we go down into the sales data here, right? So look what happened here. There's 10 copies sold at $1, 4 copies at $1, 1 copy at $1, 3 at $1. So a whole bunch of copies went out here and sold at $1. So you can see this card was 150, 140, 150. Somebody went and listed a bunch at like $1. And then either just bought them themselves or let other people buy them and then probably just canceled the order or something like that, right? And then all of a sudden, the market price went way down. So a bunch of other sellers started listing at $90 because, you know, it was $150, $180, and then all these $1 sales. It kind of averages out the prices of the sales. Market price went to 90. 3 people listed at 90 and 3 people. And then the person manipulating or other lucky people went and bought them out at $90. So they got like a steal on this Todd and Copper, because I don't think it may at its lowest point actually get to 90. But right now it's like a solid $150 card. So because of this market manipulation, 3 people actually bought it at 90, and then people started listing back to normal and selling at normal. So just be aware there can be weird market manipulation things. This is something I talked about with like the mini Wild Eye Diver. Not necessarily in terms of market manipulation, but like if you are selling cards, don't blindly go into your inventory and just sell at what it says market price is, because that might not actually be what it is. You have to actually go and look at the sales data, look at what current lowest listings are before you actually list your own cards. Because had these people done that, they wouldn't have actually sold those for 90, right? So just keep an eye on that. There's a little market manipulation there. And then we get into the epics, right? So Winnie the Pooh, the Honey Archmage, this is the epic I pulled. I did see this as being the highest epic in the set. And actually, I could see it over time, once again, being higher than 20. 20, honestly, is not a terrible price. I think if you're willing to sit on it, it might go down to like 15-ish. But a lot of these prices on like the epics and legendaries, they're already kind of settled into where I expect them to be. Melon Lee, I think, is not going to be 15. I think this is going to settle into more of like a $5 epic. I think the Red Panda deck is really cool. People are going to play it, but I don't think it's going to be like the high-end deck. The Winnie the Pooh, like the Honey deck isn't going to be like high tier either, but Pooh is extremely collectible, right? And we've seen that with Honey Wizard, as I showed you already. So I think as a collectible, this epic is going to hold value and it's going to go up. I would say if you like wanted to buy one at 20, I would not blame you, but I think if you hold out, you might get one a little bit cheaper. Melon Lee isn't as collectible of a character. It's not a very popular franchise, and I don't think the deck is, I think the deck's definitely a playable, fun deck, but I don't know that the Red Panda stuff's going to be in the meta. We'll see, but I think this is more supposed to be like a $5 epic. Boo at $10 I think is solid. It definitely could be there. Let's go to the next page. Now we get into some legendaries, right? So Woody and Buzz at the top of the set, and Mushu as well. Both legendaries that can draw cards, both very good. I actually could see Mushu surpassing Woody and Buzz, just because Mushu's a little bit more generic, right? Like you can play Mushu in any green deck, whereas Woody and Buzz is really specifically for the toy deck. Just depends on how many people play it. But you can see, just like Wilds Unknown, we do not have a single like non-foil legendary above $10. And I think once again, it's because these legendary pull rates are so much higher that I think this just might be the new norm. Like we might be past the days of $20+ legendaries, and that's probably a good thing, to be honest, because having to get 4 copies of Dumbo at $50-$60, like that's just out of some people's price ranges. It leaves deck building a little bit more limited for some players that maybe don't want to pay that much money. So what we're actually seeing with Lorcana, it's really shifting towards the Pokemon model. If you look at a Pokemon set, and I'm going to do a video specifically comparing a Pokemon set to like Lorcana sets, but that model is shifting to where deck building becomes very cheap and all of the value is in the high-end collectibles, the high-end pulls, right? Which I actually think can be a good thing, because once again, for people that want to play the game, you're going to be able to build your decks incredibly cheap. And then there is still those nice chase cards you can pull to get your value back, right? So once again, I think these prices are very fair, right? Like if you wanted to go in and start deck building and get like legendaries and lowers, like they're at a price that is certainly buyable right now. But if you want a penny pinch, I think all of these prices could still go down a little bit. Mushu might even be like undervalued, man. I don't know. Mushu's a good card, right? Once again, I think over time, I think Mushu is going to surpass Woody and Buzz as the top legendary. Because I think right now it's a lot of people that are playing toy decks and like are fan favorites of the Toy Story stuff. Toy Story is just really hot right now, but I think Mushu is going to overtake it. The Peter Pan epic at about 5, I think is fair. Jasmine epic 4 is fair. But once again, all of these epics that are in like the $5 range, there's always epics in like the $2-3 range. Like these all could still dip as low as they are right now. They could still dip even more. The Mickey and Minnie legendary is about $5, not bad. The regular Melon Lee rare, you can see market price $4. We're still like in pre-sale on that, but you can see listings now at about $1 for the regular rare. Kevin, $4. The Merida legendary, about $4. Randall at about $3.50 for the epic. Mulan epic, $3.50. This Lilo and Stitch super rare is intriguing to me. Let's take a look at this card, because to me, for like initial release, this is kind of high for a super, but this card is really good, right? It comes out on turn 3, quest for 3, resist 1, support. I mean, this Lilo and Stitch is a banger card. So this $4 for super rare, this might actually stick. Like this is a really good card. Once again, I think you can sit on it and it might go down to like $2, but yeah, like that's almost a justified price. That Lilo and Stitch is a banger super rare, very good. Rapunzel and Flynn about $3 for the legendary. The Kronk epic at $3. Christopher Robin at $3. I think, you know, 3 being very cheap, Christopher Robin's going to get even cheaper. Because once again, I think there's going to be a limited number of people playing the honey deck. I think a lot of people that are going to run this are only going to run it at 1. So a tech I've heard that people say, because with Christopher Robin, it just says as long as he's in your deck, you can play any color honey. So I think Blurple decks will just, like generic Blurple decks, can just throw this in as a one of, and it's just in the deck, and it can be ink if you don't ever want to summon it. But then that gives you access to all the honey characters that are other colors. So like you could run the bodyguard, yellow bodyguard in there, or you could run the yellow singer in there, which I think is what a lot of people are doing, is they're running the Kanga in there. Then it gives Blurple access to a Singer 5 yellow character. It's kind of crazy. So Christopher Robin, I think people are going to be just wanting like a single copy of him to do some shenanigans, right? The 100 Acre Wood epic, being a location, I could see this going down to like $1.50, but I mean $3. I mean, you can't go wrong. So like a lot of these you could feel free to buy. Pocahontas Miko, $3, very fair price. Melon Lee at about $3, legendary. Hey Hey Epic, $3, right? And then we get into it here, and at the bottom of the legendary, we have the Robin Hood Maid Marian extended arts. These are the foils that have the connecting arts. They're at about $3, $2. Horn King at about $2.75. The Dash Epic at about $2.60. Not bad. Like these are like, once again, it's starting to look like normal Wilds Unknown prices. Mike Wazowski, this is the guy I told you to keep your eye on. $3 is actually very fair for him. I see him as being a $4 to $5. He could be in the Eleanor range. Like, so him and the Lilo and Stitch. I think we got 2 really good super rares in the set that I think will actually hold value. I have seen a lot of people liking the Peter Pan Tinkerbell, $2 on that. I think that's an okay price. It could, once again, with any of these super rares, like once people get their copies and more keep getting listed, I mean, super rares end up being under $1 a lot of the times. So I think on like when you get to Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, that's up to you. If you think $2 is fine and you want to buy it, go ahead. But I could see it going down and being like $1, right? We just don't know. The Mega Vault Epic, I think this Mega Vault's a super cool card. $3, not bad. Roz, $2.50, not bad. Dash and Violet Legendary, once again, I don't know. There's a ton of hate on these good Incredibles legendaries, right? Mr. Incredible from set 1 is like $1.75, and this Dash and Violet is at $2.25. And I think they're both absolutely incredibly good cards. So like, I don't know. I'm going to be playing this Incredibles deck. Maybe it's just all in my mind. Like sometimes decks sound really good in theory, but they don't actually play out. This could be the case, right? Like in theory, this Incredibles deck should be insane. We'll see after playtesting, but Dash and Violet very cheap at $2.25. Mrs. Incredible Epic at $2. And then we kind of go down from there. Now, once we start getting down to like this $2 Sully, this $2 Rapunzel at super rare, these might be a little high. I think these could end up being like 50 cents. But once again, the prices now have normalized enough that you could buy any of this, like anything below Enchanted, you could buy almost any of it. And even if it goes down, you're not overpaying by that much. So if you want to start your deck building and start buying some of this stuff out, I think you're probably pretty safe to do so. This rare Pocahontas at $2, I think she's going to be heavily used. She is also in Attack of the Vine pre-release promo, so that could lower her value a little bit, although that promo is like 20 bucks right now. And then we kind of just go down from there. Another card you should keep your eye on is Source of the Vine. This is a sneaky good super rare. Ton of people were asking for this card, trading for this card at $2. This is one that could have an Eleanor effect that gets a little bit more expensive later on. So there are actually like a really nice amount of decent supers. This Violet Par also is a very decent super rare within the set. So there are some cool, interesting ones there. And then my poor guy Scar down here at $1 for a legendary. And guess what? Guess which legendary your boy pulled 5 copies of yesterday? Your boy here pulled 5 copies of Scar. I got 4 regulars and 1 foil Scar. The foil Scar actually has a little value. It was at like 7. But yeah, of course, like the worst legendary in the set, I just pull infinite amounts of them. That's just my luck, right? But hey, I got the Enchanted, so it's all good. Okay, so now let's get down, and we do have, okay, market manipulation. Let's look at Aladdin and Genie. So this Enchanted wasn't at the top, but it has a market price of $1. So let's see if people are market manipulating here. What is going on? Yeah, 2 sales at $1. So market price, but that's not stopping people from listing. So 275, 290. That's where Genie and Aladdin is sitting. So that might be kind of appropriate. It's probably going to be maybe more 250, 225, but beautiful card, right? The thing with Aladdin and Genie, if we look at the history of their Enchanteds, Genie's standalone and Aladdin's standalone actually have been kind of lower end. So I think this one's going to go down. I think it's going to be, I think you might even be able to get this around 200. This might even dip below 200 at one point, but it's a very beautiful card. Let's keep going through the set. What I'm going to do, I don't know if there's any other Enchanteds with shenanigans. I guess we could sort to Enchanted, but let's look at the end. Let's look at the Iconics. They're going to be at the end. All of the non-market value stuff will be at the end. Okay, so Madrigal family has no market value, but listings at 150, which is very fair right now. Like I said this before in my previous pre-release video, Madrigal family stuff and Kanto stuff, for whatever reason, there must not be as big a fan base. I absolutely love Encanto. Like, I actually picked up a lot of the Encanto Enchanteds because they're really beautiful cards. It's an awesome movie, but for whatever reason, the general community, like, these end up always being on the lower end of the Enchanteds for whatever reason. So if this sucker goes below 100, I'm going to pick one up. Sully and Boo, lowest listed at 325. And then right now, there are no sales on TCG Player on the Iconics, but both of them right now neck and neck listed at 4,000, right? I think over time, the Lilo and Stitch is going to be the bigger of the two. That's just my gut feeling. Some Stitch cards have just been crazy in this game over time. Belle and Beast individually, they're usually like around the middle of the pack for like Enchanted prices, things like that. But I don't know. I think this Lilo and Stitch is going to end up being the bigger of the two. You can let me know in the comments which one you think is going to be the bigger of the two. Maybe they'll just stay kind of even, right? We never really know right there. So anyways, guys, that's our little look at the Attack of the Vine. I know it was kind of a longer video, but we had a lot to look at. But yeah, right now prices have already normalized, right? Like pretty much normalized to what they're going to be. So my advice to you guys is if you want to start deck building now, you're probably fine to do so. But if you're willing to wait another week, as cheap as some of these cards are, I think most of the set is still going to slowly decline downward. I would say if you're looking at Enchanteds, I would say still wait a little bit. A lot of the Enchanteds are still really, really high. I think the Enchanteds are slowly going to start dropping and dropping and dropping. So I wouldn't be buying Enchanteds yet, but a lot of the epics and then pretty much everything legendary and under, you're probably safe to start buying right now if you want to. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know how your pre-release went. If you like these videos, if you like these discussions, please like and subscribe to the channel. And then also I have a Discord. I would like to get some more Lorcana people in there. The Discord link is posted in the description of my video, so please feel free to join that. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.